You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include death of loved ones, grief and mourning, complex relationships, environmental collapse, climate disaster, apocalypse, fantasy violence, survival and scarcity, food shortages and hunger, and the threat of starvation. Arc 4, Episode 13. The Tomb is Bare. From Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chang. Isolation has many names. Silence, loneliness, hunger, a radio that won't talk back, a book you have read 1,000 times, a family you will never see again, a home you can never return to. Your only companion is the nothingness that surrounds you. The empty space that defines your isolation. The void within. The void without. It watches you toil. It watches you suffer. It watches you die. And it waits for you. The shepherd of the end. The gravestones have no names and no inscriptions. A fine layer of dust covers each grizzled marker, disturbed only by the hollow wind wheezing through dead branches. The marker on the left is tall and broad, driven deep into the earth like a steady bulwark. The one in the middle has a crack at its base where a few tattered wisps of old cobweb still cling. The one on the right is the smallest of the three, plain and unadorned, a story forever untold. What one emotion emerges across your face as you take in these three graves? Let's start with Xainan.
It is a cacophony of feeling for Xainan Esch, but on the outside, a single tear in the shape of revelation.
As the tear brims on the edge of your eye, trembles but does not quite fall yet, you pan across you to find Lumièra.
Lumièra's showing a myriad of emotions, but I think the one that's most prevalent is sorrow. What it's like to live a life that's not remembered. No inscription on a gravestone, just lost. Lost to memory. Lost to time.
This loss that you see without resonates deep somewhere within your soul. And we pan across your face, Lumièra, to find Seir.
A horror that he has not felt since leaving a chosen one's long sword buried in the loam of the wild sea.
Seir, As the horror begins to rise inside you, there is a rustling, crinkling noise, like dry leaves igniting. Are you back in the wild sea? Is Oregonus here? No. The noise is coming from the bandolier across your left shoulder. The radio, the broken radio, crackling to life. Xainan and Lumièra, you hear it too, this time. A burst of static punctuating the silence, but only Seir can discern the garbled words that swim through the noise. Seir. You hear a familiar voice, deep and sturdy like an ancient stone. Artemis. Her tone is familiar, and the words are too, only the details are different. A mission briefing, being given to a strike team that is not your own. A strike team charged with bringing a plane of existence that is neon and green and full of life back into the tapestry of the journey, back onto the path of fate's will. Another voice swims through the static, a chorus of voices, this time 4 in total, none of them familiar to you, making noises of affirmation, assent, excitement, and then wind. A howling gust of wind screaming through the radio, so loud and furious that the signal peaks and cuts out. The wind dies down. A chorus of voices rises again, but lesser in number. 3 now, singing a song with flourishes that you do not know, but whose underlying melody is familiar to you. This is a death song. A syndicate death song, one you have participated in only once before, in the Hall of Heroes, underneath your sister's shadow. And then there is a snarling, a chittering, a screaming of static, a shout of pain and anguish. A phrase cuts through the interference. This is not how the world should die. That even the others hear, Xainan and Lumièra and Yinghe. And then there is the song again, the death song, sung by 2 voices. One of the voices drops out, turns low and pained, mutates into groans. And now a quiet, a horrible quiet, amidst the static and groaning, snatches of intimate words that you should not be hearing. An oath uttered. And the last thing you hear is the song again, led by a single voice. Static. And then nothing.
Tiny threats of tears line Seir's eyes. They hurt and burn like the cudgel that he puts on his eye, like underneath his eyelids every morning. And he finds himself turning the knob, the frequency, finding more, anything more. What about the 4th? What about the 4th? What about the 4th? All Seir sees are 3 graves and none with his name on it. And there is a crippling realization. The voice of Artemis, which was once a comfort, once an anchor, is a void, an abyss, a reflection of the choice he made with Nova, that they all made. She's not going to save us. No one is going to save us. No one is going to save us. And Seir hears that ringing and pounding in their head again and again and again as the gaze that holds those 3 stone memorials shake in his skull. Shake in his skull. And he is silent for a long while and still watching these graves in a horror that he has not touched. Not even since her.
Xainan, Lumièra, though it had mostly just been static that crackled out of this broken radio, you did catch that one phrase, that one distinct line. This is not how the world should die. And you see a look of abject horror, shock reeling on Seir's face. A look you've seen a few times now, in the Wild Sea, in the City of Heaven, even grasping for it in Inferno. You know that there is more that your companion has heard. How do you respond?
Xainan hears the words, and it echoes into the stars. No. Into a trail of blood. No. Into a truth that he already knows. Kesuke was supposed to live. And he looks to Seir concerned, but also curious. This radio was a promise once of learning more. It showed us the direction before, or at least it showed us what to fear. You alright?
Yeah.
Lumièra stands stock still. Those words keep repeating over and over and over in her head. This isn't the way this was supposed to die. This isn't how this was supposed to go. This is so far out of fate's will. And then those words start morphing back into her conversation with fate. How even she said, sometimes she's not enough. Is this one of those times? And I think that grief, that realization sinks in her stomach, like throwing a boulder into a still river.
Lumièra, in the Prime Oracle Chamber, there had been something so immensely overwhelming about being the direct and unwavering object of attention for the second precept. That those words, I am not enough, had stuck in you, but yes, now it sinks to the bottom, to the top of your consciousness, this realization buoyed by an emotion that now, upon reflection in memory, now you reaching backward in time, can finally see. Not just within you, but also on fate's face at the time. The grief of it. The sadness, the sorrow of not being enough. And, in front of your eyes now, the 3 graves. the consequences that come of this shortcoming.
Did you hear something?
I heard them die.
Them?
The strike team.
Sunrise?
Yes.
What about the fourth?
He didn't say. Wherever they are is far beyond Doom's eyes now. But the sun sets here for sunrise.
And Xainan looks at that void, that seed in the sky, and for the first time, it feels different.
I think I want to just say a few words for sunrise then. If they have no one left and nothing left, and of course they're not going to hear them. It feels a little fruitless, but it feels right, you know? And Yinghe steps forward, a gust of wind billowing around them, causing the veil around their face to part briefly, and we see that their moonlit silver eyes are wet and glistening, but no tears yet fall. And intertwining their fingers together like threads of fate that have long forsaken them, they take a breath, gather themselves, and say to the wind, to the dust, to sunrise, I lost count of how many graves there were, marked and unmarked, back on Zhiguang, because of the war, the endless wars. I feel ashamed about it now, but I looted some of those graves to stay alive. And I told stories about who the people were based on the things I found. A dagger here, a ribbon there, a pouch full of dried sweets packed by a lover, a sibling, a parent, maybe even a child. I told stories to myself about where they came from, what they were doing, what they hoped to do and couldn't. So, I suppose I'll do the same now. I don't know who the three of you were, but I do know that you were from the Syndicate, which means you must have been here for a reason, which means you must have been heroes, like I always thought I couldn't be. Like being with Nova now, I feel like maybe I can be. So I just want to say thank you. And I'm very sorry that this is how your adventures had to come to an end. I'll remember all of you. And Yinghe bows their head and steps back into the line of the three of you. How do each of you pay your respects to sunrise?
Lumièra will drop to her knees, sit on the haunches of her calves, and bow her head, reach out to individually make contact with each grave. And mumbles under her breath. A prayer she can't really remember her remembering, or even knowing, or where she even got it from. Most of it is in jumbled bits and pieces, some words in another dialect that she can't really make out. And she'll raise back up and from watching Xainan many a times, when she stands to her full height, she will take her hat off, place it across her chest, before adjusting it back on her head and standing back in line with Nova.
I think beside Lumièra, Xainan looks to the graves, and he's counting the same 1, 2, 3 that Seir is counting, that Lumièra is counting, an invisible force that is so omnipresent. But for Xainan, he also hears the sound of 1,000 voices, the entirety of Keseki. He hears the clamor of the cafeteria at Trans. He hears the sound of people settling before LSSG. And all of that ringing clear in his ears is the voice of the patron saint of mortals. Cosmic balance. There's some debt. It isn't just gratitude that these strike team members were here to save a Keseki that had wandered so far from the journey. They're the reason he is here now. Whatever brought you here. Thank you. And Xainan walks up to each of them. To Ija, no. To Cherry. He stands there. The next, he stops, bows his head deeper, feels a song echo through his soul. And the last one, like stepping into a pit. Xainan Esch thanks the ghosts, holds them close, and in perfect harmony with Lumièra, steps back, dusts off his hat, puts it on his head. Thank you, Sunrise.
Seir is so still. It's a wonder you could see him breathe at all. He's so still. All he can see are 3 graves. And all he can wonder morbidly is whose stone belongs to whom in Nova. And how his is not amongst them. How he sees the shadow, this omnipresent 4th member, this haunt upon this place. And feels a distant kinship to someone he will not see. And Seir just closes the distance some, not enough for a true paying of respect, because then he'll have to touch it. Then he'll have to see that it is real and think that it is real. And if he thought for any moment longer that these graves could be Nova's, he will be torn asunder where he stood. And all Seir can do is stare and mutter underneath his breath, I won't let what happened happen again. It won't happen again. The sun won't set on us yet. Not yet. I'm sorry. And he doesn't close the distance. They stand there, hand gripped tight onto patience. Come, Nova. There's nothing for us here.
Okay. Well, where should we go next? Xainan, you found a map in the broadcast room, right?
I certainly did. How would you all like to go find Haruna Valley with me? My home.
Lead the way.
And I would love that. And with that, strike Team Nova. The four of you turn from the graves and walk into the unknown. Xainan's map depicts a Keseki that no longer exists. Undulating hills of green and purple, steel-white mountains, lush bodies of water bathed in jeweled tones of turquoise and pink and scarlet. But now, the only color that remains is gray. Haruna Valley looms to the south, several prefectures away. Back when there was water, it was separated from your current location by the roaring waves and endless depths of the vast Kagayaku Ocean, which eventually bled into the more temperate and mild currents of the Hoshizora Sea. Although sailing would have been possible, it would be safer to take the Isthmus of Chisare that connects the prefecture of Okinai to the north with the prefecture of Hose-Kote to the south. As for Haruna Valley itself, it knows nothing of the sea. Why would it? It is nestled in the northern reaches of the Tani prefecture and surrounded by land on all sides, including the jagged peaks of the Centipede, the mighty mountain range in southern Keseki, whose blue-skied lowlands and raptor-rich highlands are home to many diverse communities, including Haruna Valley. So yes, back when there was water, the best way to reach Haruna Valley from the mountains of northern Hofu was to travel to Okinai by goat or perhaps elk, take the sky bridge across the Isthmus of Chisare, ride an interprefectural maglev shuttle from Hose-Kote to Tani, and finally hike up to the valley on foot, or if you still have the coin and ivory to spare at that point, hire a raptor driver. But there is no water. Not anymore. Which means that the fastest way to reach Haruna Valley is a straight line. Tower 19 is surrounded by steep, mountainous terrain. Even when the soil was rich and firm, traversing this area would have been a difficult challenge for all but the most experienced hikers. Now, the earth is so eroded and loose, and the silt is so dry that every step is an opportunity for your footing to collapse underneath you. Natural anchors are few and far between, the hollow husks of trees that look like they would crumble at the lightest touch, old boulders that wobble beneath your weight like loose teeth. Still, you find a way forward, and you find a way down. As you hike southward through this mountain, going downhill the entire time, hours stretch into days. And over time, travel becomes a routine. Wake early, pack up camp, walk for as long as your feet can bear, taking as few breaks as your bodies can endure. Find shelter, make camp, take watch, wake early, repeat. Eventually, the days stretch into an entire week. 1 week of hiking through this mountain. 1 week of watching where you step so you don't roll your ankle or tumble downhill or lose what precious resources you have left. 1 week of breathing in the dust, sleeping in the cold, seeing no one but each other and yourselves. Over the course of this week, what do each of you turn over and over inside your minds? And how does it come out in the way that you behave? Let's start with Xainan.
Xainan is somehow both more quiet than normal and so much wider open. With the map in hand, he offhandedly comments on landmarks that are familiar to him, the few places that he recognizes the names of. He talks about with love or with frustration even, some of them, roads not as well maintained for raptors and the sky bridge that he knew rumors of but never saw himself. But the thing that he turns over as he says these things so openly is the faces of Yinghe, of Lumièra, of Seir, sitting next to Sing at an LSSG meeting and telling them all of this from his heart. In a memory that doesn't exist, but it does. It does. And every time he thinks about it for longer than a moment, he also feels a cold hand like the moon braiding in something impossible. And he has to sometimes return to the dirt and the dust beneath his feet, both because it is perilous to walk in this region, but also it keeps him feeling real, feeling tethered. And as he walks, he looks to stars that he can't see. And he can feel something growing deep inside of him that isn't just this revelation. It's hope. He's walking home.
Xainan, as you walk through this dusty mountain, passing the corpses of trees and the loose places where boulders still cling onto eroded soil, there's a routine that comes as each day breaks and each night falls of talking about food, water, survival. And you, too, feel the gnawing of hunger in your belly and the parched dryness of thirst on your tongue. But this memory that does exist, this memory that doesn't exist, comes with it a knowledge, a newfound knowledge gifted to you by that cold hand braiding it into your soul. In this moment, do you untangle that knowledge, push its boundaries, or do you let that sit for now in the back of your mind?
He looks it over. It is not idle. It is like someone learning how to braid for the first time by looking at someone's intricate and beautiful braid. He follows the footsteps that touch the blood-soaked presence, omnipresence of Artemis as he thinks it over and walks through spring, summer, fall, and winter over and over and over again. He just rolls it around, learning, like reading a book again, just for comprehension.
Xainan, this week passes for you like that, then, pointing out familiar landmarks on the map, and around you, places you never got to visit, but now that you see in the desiccated echoes of what they are now. Feeling the braid of this knowledge tangled inside of you, working through the seasons of who you are, were, could be. We pan across you to find Lumièra. Over the course of this week, Lumièra, what are you turning over inside your mind, and how does it come out in the way that you behave?
Lumièra is drowsy. Probably a bit more exhausted than I think anyone has ever literally seen her, and that's saying something because she went weeks without sleeping just a few months prior. And outside of just looking exhausted, she looks anxious, on edge a bit. She's a bit antsy, a little jittery. Head is consistently on a swivel. She keeps checking each of her strike team members, doing once, twice, thrice glance overs. Any sign of pain, anything that seems off. Xainan is off. Seir is off, and so is Ying He. After a while, she kind of gets exhausted of sitting on her hands, literally. Her eyes keep glancing over Xainan's rifle. Before one day, she just walks up to him, completely determined, holding your rifle in her hands. I need you to teach me how to shoot. It's not enough right now. I'm not enough. None of us are enough.
Xainan, who I think had sat it down as he was, cleaning up camp, just kind of looks at Lumièra holding this rifle, this shield, this emblem of who Xainan thought he was. All right. Not because you're not enough, but it
We
might be
don't know
useful.
what we're against. Anything goes out here, and you saw those graves? That
I
could
did.
be us. I refuse to let it.
All right.
Okay.
And he steps closer and just holds his hands out.
She'll put the rifle into your hand.
First of all. And he opens the bolt, and the bullet that's loaded in there comes out. And he hands her back the gun. He holds
What's
it
in
out
there?
to her. This And he stands in the ghost of his emo. This is a shield.
Shield. Got it.
All right. Take it carefully. Never point this at anything you don't plan on shooting.
Yes, sir.
And he will show her. He'll walk her through the parts of the rifle, and he is dazzled to show her an exquisite scope that he mounts carefully from his hip on it that was gifted to him what feels like a lifetime ago. And he smiles as he mounts it on the gun. You know how this thing works.
It's useful. Yeah?
It's very useful. You see that spot way over there? That ridge. And he challenges her to spot before he shows her how to shoot. He breaks down all of the different disciplines of where to put it on her shoulder, how to safely keep it there while she's shooting and not let it kick her on her ass. He takes time and he walks in this beautiful path. And he looks down and he sees the footprints of an 11-year-old standing next to Lumièra. And he smiles the whole time, right into Lumièra's eyes. In a way that's so warm, Lumièra, I don't think you've ever seen him smile like this, even when he was trying to teach you how to cook on the wild sea.
I think Lumièra is so into making sure that she's holding it correctly. Her finger's not on the trigger. You taught her that much. As she's trying to get used to the weight of it. But she feels that bright, burning smile right in the back. She doesn't acknowledge it, but she does grin and looks down the barrel one more time. It's kind of crooked on her shoulder a little bit.
And he tips it for her.
Over the course of this week, Xainan, you eventually graduate Lumièra from simply handling and holding and sighting through the gun to her very first attempt to shooting an actual live round. And Lumièra, I want you to tell me, does it come naturally to you?
Hell no. Not even close. I think she tried to prep herself, but she was not ready for that kickback. I think that thing still knocked her shoulder real hard. And she kind of, when it goes off a bit, like, wherever the bullet went is way wide of wherever the target itself was supposed to be. And she goes, hold on. Let me try again. I can do it again. And kind of resettles herself. And the firing still kind of jeers her a bit. And it's not as far wide off, but it's also nowhere close to the target whatsoever.
You gotta loosen up. You gotta shake it out. And he walks up to her and just rocks her shoulders back and forth, kind of shakes her just a little. You can't overmanage it. You got this.
Don't overmanage. And surgical like precision, the way you typically see her when she's in the zone. She'll finally pull the trigger. I think this time she's a little used to it. It hits the target, far from the target,
Woo!
but at least it was the target. And she like looks back so proud, like, good.
Xainan is hooting and grinning from ear to ear. Good.
And she'll nod her head with her hat.
And now we pan over the course of this week to find Seir. Seir, what are you turning over inside your mind, and how does it come out in the way you behave?
She will not save us. No one is going to save us. The only thing Seir can think about burned into his retinas is the shape of all of those graves. And Seir is never still. This whole week, I don't think Nova has seen him sit. He is moving. Where he is not scouting ahead at which rocks or boulders are looser than the other. If not scouting the perimeter, scavenging for food, materials, fuel. If it is not digging trap ditches for what may or may not come, if it isn't lining the perimeter, if it isn't him scouting, if it isn't him hunting, if it isn't him protecting, then it doesn't matter. There's no love or compassion or connection here. Seir has no care for what this does to him. His tears are faded out, fading and fading and fading, unkempt. The cudgel he wears smeared, dark circles around his eyes. And all Seir can think about is keeping Nova alive by any means necessary.
Seir, throughout this week, as you continue to move, to not rest, to push yourself physically in order to keep the others safe, you will notice on your peripheral vision and also... Okay, quick pause. I think Val may be cut out. Okay, network issues. Okay, maybe we can go to a quick... Oh no! Val's coming back. I see the thing... I'm seeing the not visible
Hello.
unknown user entering the call. Hi, Val. Welcome back. Can you hear and see us? Okay. Sounds good. All right. Val, I don't know if you can hear us, but oh, okay, he's gone. That's fine. All right, cool. I'm just gonna, we'll table Seir for a second, and we'll go back to Lumièra and Xainan in this moment. Xainan.
Oh, go.
So I actually want to set a different scene, actually, for you in particular, actually, Xainan. Xainan. As the first week continues to unfold, actually as the first week starts to reach the final few days, you're a couple of days into travel at this point, and that knowledge that you've been turning over in your head, you've been feeling in the depths of your soul, just mulling on for now, it really starts to come to the forefront of your mind. This profanity within you. And you feel the hunger, and you taste the thirst, and the dull ache of pain in your leg from the monster of Hane Bay still stings. But there's something else. Your body, this body of yours. What can it do? What is it capable of, really? Given the realization, the revelation you had back at Sunrise's graves, back at the graves of your own family. And I want you to tell me the time of day it is when you first venture your curiosity.
I think it is second twilight. As he looks down and wonders.
In second twilight, the light is not fully gone from the sky yet. Again. And penetrating the thick film of dust, this gray haze that lingers around these dusty slopes all around you, is a kind of purplish, grayish illumination, an echo of color, a memory of saturation. And as you're looking down at your body, this is one of the few breaks that Nova allows itself along your travel. You can hear the rest of your party on the mountainside slope near you, just taking a breather. Low tones of Yinghe and Lumièra conversing about one topic or another. You're looking down at your body, and then you hear Yinghe pipe up a voice, a reminder of break for rations for the day, as they start to go around and give out each person's apportioned piece of food. And then they come up to you, and they hold out what tiny little bit of a jarred mollusk remains. With a small, tight smile that doesn't quite reach their eyes still.
Xainan accepts Yinghe's distance and the mollusk, the little bit of it. But normally, as long as we've been on Keseki, and even before, food goes down in front of him, he eats it promptly. It'd be terrible for the dust to ruin a perfectly good meal. But he accepts it. Thank you. And
You're
then
welcome.
he waits just long enough for Yinghe to move on before he goes towards Lumièra. I noticed you weren't feeling too bright, and I worry that our tight rationing is taking its toll on you. I'm all right if you want this.
No, it's okay.
I mean it, I'm all right.
No, we all need our sustenance. It's fine. And she tightens the tourniquet that is on her thigh and grunts and winces a bit before tucking the sides back in. Oh, it's cool. I appreciate it though. Thank you.
I need you to have more strength. I understand, but if any of us need medical help, I need you to be the strongest.
I have survived off
Just
this
this once. Just this once.
Lumièra will hold her hand out begrudgingly.
He gives it to her.
And she'll make a show of eating it.
And he smiles. And there is not a sadness or debt in this giving. You feel that there is lightness. It is truly a gift he is happy to give.
Thank you.
And inside, he wonders, could have he been doing this the whole time since we got here? I guess we'll find out.
And Xainan, as the days go on, there are other things that you've been doing this whole time that you haven't questioned, but now you question. the dust that suffuses the air all around you, the dust that you guard from your lungs with your respirator, that you help guard the lungs of others of your strike team with their cloths and their masks, and the involuntary reflex of breathing itself. But now that you start to question, doesn't feel so involuntary anymore.
And again, that heavy stone, the respirator. He holds on to it for now, but he hears the cough that Lumièra had when we found her in the storm. The cough that Dom had in the bar. The cough that Doxa had. And he coughs when he thinks too long about it. But then he stops coughing. And his face goes a little cold. Maybe he didn't need to be coughing. Maybe he didn't need to be breathing, at least not all the time. But it's so comforting. And he takes a deep breath in. And it's vile. But it is the air of home.
And Xainan, this knowledge begins to solidify in you that these mortal and necessary reflexes for living beings of eating, of drinking, of breathing, of sleeping even, well, they are necessary reflexes for those beings that are living. But you, the coldness of your face, the flush of hunger that feels dull, that doesn't stop you from moving. They feel less like necessary reflexes and more like comforting memories you choose to hold close. For you know the truth of who you are, what happened to you now, and the truth of the liminal space between life and death that your body lives in, and an echo and a memory of Inferno, of the blood-craving undead, and how that felt so much like home in a way you hadn't realized until now. And now Seir. So, quick note for Mark, because I'm not sure when Val cut out for the recording. Just this is above the table for myself. I'm just going to prompt you back in with kind of the same prompt I had. So we'll just take that, Val, from the top, if that's cool with you.
Cool. Let me remember what on earth I said.
Okay, yeah. This is just for myself as well as a facilitator.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Seir, over the course of this week, what do you turn over and over inside of your mind? And how does it come out in the way that you behave?
She will not save us. No one will save us. The only thing that Seir has been chewing on this past week has been the visage of those graves burned into his retinas. And this cuts him so deeply, and the only balm that can soothe it is if he keeps moving, walking, checking every loose boulder or rock, securing every rope, setting up the camp first, breaking it down first, securing the perimeter, hunting, gathering, scavenging. The scraps. Sharpnels of wood for fuel. There's no love or compassion for Seir's self here. Nothing. There's no room for that. No kindness for that. No connection to Nova. He is distant. He is quiet. And he is doing everything. Preempting every desire, every need that Nova could possibly want.
Seir, throughout this week, we see you never in a state of rest. You are constantly in motion, pushing yourself physically, mentally, in order to keep the others safe, in order to make sure that the rest of Nova is all right, as their bulwark, as their shield. And there's something you notice on your peripheral vision throughout this week, and that you can feel on the nape of your neck. You can sense her is Yinghe looking at you. And you can see a look of expectation, a look of disappointment, a look of hope. And there are moments when Yinghe seems like they want to say something to you, like they want to approach you, want to broach some sort of topic, but then you brusquely walk on to check the perimeter again, or you go out to scavenge more, or you turn to crack branches off of a desiccated tree for more firewood. And Yinghe, for once, bites their lip, swallows their words, and doesn't approach you first. And Seir, ever present, ever moving, ever aware, you keep an eye on the rest of your teammates. You notice Yinghe's behavior. You notice Lumièra's behavior, the shooting. You've taken note of the practice with the rifle that your healer has been making. And you also notice Xainan. Rather odd behavior from Xainan that you see from the corners of your eyes. A strange sudden stillness of his chest, and then a deep breath in and a cough. But the stillness went on for too long. And the cough was a reflex, yes, but was there something almost performative about it? How do you respond to your observations?
I don't sleep anymore. I am afraid of hearing Xainan gasp for air. There are moments in the night where I move from stillness and I hover just above Xainan just so I can see him move or breathe. He feels less warm. Lumièra is tired. Whatever affliction, whatever state that is happening with Xainan, that is not an additional thing that Lumièra needs on her plate. And Yinghe, well, Yinghe, we don't have to talk about all that now, do we? And Seir just sits up in his bedroll, watching the sleeping, breathing faces of his comrades. And they linger on Xainan for longer than anyone should.
And Seir, you do not approach Xainan about it. And Xainan, you do not approach Seir about it. And Nova, as we pass the 1 week mark, there is some survival we must do. There is a force of extinction present, after all. So first, I need all of you to make me a group survival check. This is a regular survival check for each of you, regular modifiers, and each individual success on your roll will count as 1 resource that you harvest over the course of the week. And you get to decide if this resource goes toward provisions, energy, or protection. So, just as a reminder, because it's been a while since we played this game, this is a D20 pool game, and we are looking for as many results that are equal to or under your survival score. And the number of D20s you get to roll depend on the circumstances. So, you have no situational advantage this week. None of you can count as giving assistance to or receiving assistance from any of you, as this is individual rolls. But you can say if you're harnessing a relevant tool or power. So let's start with Lumièra, if there is a particular tool or power that you're invoking in this moment over the course of the week to gather resources.
Unless you count me being very smart, then no.
I'm sorry. You are very smart, but I'm sorry. I don't think that counts. That is just going to be
good.
1d20.
I'm just kidding.
Actually, you look very tired, Lumièra. Lumièra is exhausted.
I would roll
cannot
with 0
overstate this.
D20s if I could.
Okay, Lumièra, your survival's a 10. Did you get it? No. Okay, so nothing from
That
Lumièra.
tracks. That tracks.
Let's go to Seir. So Seir, are you harnessing a relevant tool or power?
Would you allow the fact that I'm acting on an omen to be me harnessing my power?
You know what? Yeah, I would. Because you have also described how you are like basically shirking everything and anything else to solely focus on protecting your team and harvesting resources. So yeah.
Absolutely.
2d20,
Do die, say die.
12. Oh yay! Roll for it. 12 or
Y'all
under.
should get a set. Y'all should get a set of Strike Team Nova dice, y'all.
Yeah, real.
bit.ly/transdhd.
And they come in such nice containers with our
I
logo
know.
on them.
It's got our logo.
Oh, logo on them. Official collaboration. Those
Look
are
at how
2 successes. That's a 9 and a 10.
Yeah.
A 9 and a 10. 2 successes. That's great. That's 2 resources. Would you like to put those toward provisions, energy, or protection?
Provisions for sure.
Both of
I'm gonna look at the rest of of my team over here, y'all. Provisions.
Okay.
Do you want both provisions, or should I do one for protection?
Probably 1 for protection wouldn't be amiss.
All right, I'll do that. 1 provision, 1 protection.
I'm always going to vote provisions, especially if you want to be healed.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
And we did eat those.
Yep, 2 provisions it is.
Okay. Then your provisions go from 6 to 8. Now we go to Xainan. Do you have a relevant tool or power?
So Xainan spent this whole time very in his own head and partly, I wouldn't say apologizing, but feeling that it's not even an echo. It should feel like an echo of this call that he experienced from Artemis's perspective of all of Kesiki. And in that, I think he has been walking with his ghosts nearly this whole trip. So my pitch would be to wield the ghosts of the Lodestar steading.
I will say yes, because this week you have also specifically been trying to get in tune with your body in a way that brings you closer to your ghosts, both spiritually and quite literally physically. So yes, 2d20.
And then I have another thing,
I know
which
you
is
do.
my
if you
scavenger
get
ability.
successes. Yes.
It says when I make a skill check to forage, craft, or navigate, roll dominant.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness, what did that mean again? Sorry, it's been so long. Let me see. Rolling dominant. Each success counts as 2 successes. That's what that means.
Great,
Okay,
perfect.
Lovely.
Let's go. Rolling under a 12. Oh, that's a 1 and a
Let's
6.
fucking go.
A 1 and a
Yay,
6?
a 1.
Yeah.
That's 4. Oh my god, that's 4. Okay, so you get 4 resources, Xainan. Where would you like to put them?
Let's do 2 more in provisions.
For provisions? Okay.
And then 1 in protection and 1 in energy, unless anyone has any opinions otherwise.
Yeah, okay, I think everyone's good with that. So that means, Strike Team Nova, you have 10 provisions, 4 energy, and 3 protection at the end of your first week. However, that brings me to the next piece of survival, which is resource drain. So traveling drains your resources at a rate of 1 provision per person per week. Anything less than this, and you begin to starve. An average mortal can go about 3 weeks or so without food before they risk death. And if you are injured, which all of you are, or exhausted, which all of you are, or very old or very young, this risk increases. Xainan, you are something of an exception to this rule. As you are beginning to suspect, your body does not need resources to sustain itself like most living mortals do, because you are not, strictly speaking, a living mortal. That being said, you still feel hunger and thirst and exhaustion and pain. And the more hungry, thirsty, exhausted, and in pain you are, the less capable you become as your reflexes dull and your body physically weakens. Right now, you have 10 provisions. Are there any extra provisions your team would like to spend this week, either to reduce your harm trackers or to fulfill a different project? Or would you like to take the usual rate?
How's bad Nova looking?
I have
So-
1 hit point left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of you have 1 hit point left. Yinghe has 2.
I didn't ask about me. I said Nova.
Yeah, we know that you are also rough, though. Hello.
Mhm.
We are aware.
Again. Sorry. Let me be more forward. I asked about Nova, not about Lumièra.
So Nova, Yinghe looks probably the best off, though that's still kind of the 3 other members of Nova. Seir and Xainan both look really rough. The kind of ad hoc field medic tending to at the tower that you did on their injuries stabilized them, but unless you take extra time and extra resources to really treat those injuries, they're gonna stay at the same rate of badness because you're moving and you're not allowing them to rest, and potentially risk getting worse.
So we have 6 now, after everyone took their provision.
Yes, you have 6 provisions left.
I can use all of our provisions to have both of them heal a hit point. But then we would have no more provisions and we would have to scavenge again.
Yeah, that would depend on your next group survival check, how many more provisions you get, and you better hope you get at least 4, or else you're going to run out of food.
If Lumièra
That's up
came
to
to
y'all.
Xainan and told him that she was going to fix him, he would point to the person who's working themselves to the bone and say, he looks like he's going to fall apart if he keeps up at this pace.
Okay. So I will use 3 of those provisions for Seir. Seir, you can you can gain back a hit point.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're going to leave Xainan with 1 hit point, but we're going to save the rest of our provisions. Okay, which means at the end of this, we have 3 provisions, 4 energy, and 3 protection. Okay. Okay, then. There is a final piece of survival that we have to do. One that I am personally very excited about.
They look way too happy.
Connie's random encounter table. That's right. We're doing random encounters this arc.
Connie, you better
Because
hope
it's
I don't see you
thematically
in person.
relevant.
Again.
I am using my sing die, okay? I'm using my pink sing die to make this roll. I'm going to roll this behind the GM screen, and the result is going to decide what, if anything, happens to your party this week. Okay.
Don't react like that.
On the 5th day of travel, your party stumbles across an abandoned hutch, kind of erected on stilts against the slope of the mountain. A hutch is essentially a cage that used to contain domesticated animals, perhaps bred for eggs or for food. And though no life remains within, you're able to scavenge some old feed, and your party gains 2 provisions. That brings you
Thanks,
up
Sing.
to 5. Okay. That was a good outcome. Strike Team Nova. As these first few days turn into a week, your isolation presses in against you on all sides. You haven't seen another person at all. Only the 4 of you, and only yourselves. And this isolation has many names. Silence, loneliness, hunger, a radio that won't talk back, a book you have read 1,000 times, a family you will never see again, a home you can never return to. Your only companion is the nothingness that surrounds you, the empty space that defines your isolation, the void within, the void without. It watches you toil. It watches you suffer. It watches you die, and it waits for you. The shepherd of the end. And we're going to go to break there. So thank you all so much for tuning in so far. We are going to be back in just about 10 minutes as we take a quick bio break. So please use this as an opportunity to stretch your legs, grab a drink, grab a snack, and enjoy a word from our sponsors during this 10-minute break. Spisho, bisho. Howdy, Transplay Nerds! It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die-lay. Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today. Hello, Transplay Nerds! It's your favorite part of every Chaos Protocol stream. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we are thrilled to partner with the Working Families Party, a progressive third party in the United States building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. The Working Families Party is fighting for universal healthcare, taxing the rich, and higher wages. If you're in the US and you want to make a difference in your community, I highly recommend checking out the Working Families Party and getting involved with your local chapter. In fact, let's take an action together right now to sign a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies. This petition means a lot to us as indie actual play performers telling authentic stories, fighting censorship, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. Let's build a better future together.